What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays post-game show. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprgaue back for us after abandoning us in the first part of the night. It happens. It's okay.
Work got in the way.
How dare you, sir? Blazers win. I don't know how excited I'm going to be about wins or losses. It's certainly more fun when they don't get obliterated. It's kind of cool when they win. Like, you still, like, it's kind of hard to let go of that feeling of like, no, please don't lose.
You know they're not going to lose all the games that they play. Let me ask you though. I was sad to miss the pregame. I'm glad that James hopped on. What was kind of the thought that you had going into this? Like, are you surprised that they won, or were you saying pregame you think they'd win?
I think they're both shit shows.
Gotcha.
And it's like when a negative and positive collide, you kind of know it's going to happen. When two good teams collide, you kind of know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When two negatives collide, it's like, oh shit, what's going to happen? You know? And it's like one team can look really good. Both teams could look really good. Both teams could look like a dumpster fire. You know, it's like there's so much volatility. And I think we got that tonight. I think the Kings were kind of game coming in, but they just didn't hit shots the first couple minutes, and the Blazers did, and they're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. And
that was just like, woof. Because James talked about in the pregame, like, they'll roll over and show their bellies. Like, the Kings will do that. They're not going to punch back, which is kind of hilarious because the Blazers haven't punched back at all season. They just kind of came out and hit shots.
It's a pretty damning thing to say about a team.
Right? But that's what dysfunction over 15 years will do.
Yeah.
Like, the Blazers have been in dysfunction for 15 games, and we're like, Jesus Christ, this is miserable. What are we going to do? Oh, my God. Like, are they moving the team? The Kings are like, hold my beer. You know, that's kind of what they do. They're known for that dysfunction. But again, the Blazers win tonight, 103-88. If you were like me and you were the sucker who took the over, I'm sorry. I did bet it back and got my money's worth. I bet more on Klay Thompson on his made threes. So shout out the return of Klay Day.
That was awesome.
No, it's a good thing to celebrate the return of Klay Thompson. And if you're thinking otherwise, you're an evil human being.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of unnecessary to need to go at somebody who seems like a really mellow, nice guy who's been one of the
chillest of vibes ever.
Been a remarkable player, one of the best two-way players in the league. He's got 3 championships. Like, let's not forget, like, how this all started. The dude tore his ACL, came back, and shot the free throw, and then ended up having to leave because they discovered he had a torn ACL.
Just like, the biggest of G's.
That's who Klay Thompson was when he was like at his healthiest. It was really cool to see him, and he had obviously that great moment on Jared Allen. But the Klay back day was great.
So this is wild. I mean, like, everybody who's like, I don't advocate for tearing an Achilles, but everybody who, like, I was watching the Bucks the other day, and Wes Matthews and Rodney Hood are both on the floor at the same time, and I'm like, what the hell? These guys had Achilles tears.
Kevin Durant has looked amazing since he got back.
It used to be a career killer. Now, you definitely don't want one. Trust me, I had 90% of mine torn, and it sucked. But they're coming back from this, and it's kind of cool to see.
It's, you know what, it's a little odd. That's such a good point. I didn't think about all the players that had come back. Like, KD's done a really good job. We finally get to
Kobe was like the first mark.
But Kobe had that shelf. Like, it was like, you got this window, and, you know, he ran right through that window and didn't care, and that was great.
Yeah, but he fell off a cliff athletically. I mean, just gone.
Right, but we're watching, what you're saying is what we're witnessing in real time is the advancement of modern medicine, right?
If
like this many players
KD looks as good, maybe better than he was before he got hurt, which
and everybody
should not happen.
Dominique Wilkins, this ended him. Like, everybody pointing to career enders with this injury, and
Elton Brand was like the tipping point. Elton Brand was like the last like good player who was like, oh shit, he's cooked.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, like Wes and Rodney did not come back to like KD standards, like,
right.
But I think they didn't have the athleticism to spare to begin with, or the top end level skill to have to begin with. Klay showing that bounce tonight kind of blew me away. But this is a long derailed path down the Klay day. But shout out Klay. It's always fun to see him back out there. You know who else is really fun to see back out there?
Anfernee Simons.
Bleeping Simons. Jesus H. Christ.
31 points and 6 assists, man. How you feeling? How's the blood pressure?
I mean, low, baby. Look good, feel good, play good. 31 31 points on 17 shots, getting to the free throw line, creating for others. He continues to just be like a dude. Like a dude. Not like, if you squint, I can see it. He's dropping 30 and 5 on efficient shooting. This is more than I expected.
Well, he's taken an opportunity. He's more than ran with it. I mean, you mentioned this on the live show, and I'm sure you uttered this kind of like phrasing throughout, but how many chances has this guy had without anybody else that he has to kind of defer to?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a good point. And it's like, this is his first moment. And when you get your first moment and you kind of produce this way, it's pretty eye-opening. Yep.
Oh, shit.
He's he's starting to reach to some of what his potential is.
This is like when I want to see him do it against better teams, first of all.
Oh, I know, but he's doing it. Regardless, he's doing it.
Of who's in front of him. You know, that's what you always want to do. But even I start to get myself a little carried away when I look at him right now and the way he's playing. I go, let's see, he's 22 right now. He's got like 2-3 years of real solid development behind him. It's still in front of him, I should say. Shit, I could talk myself into an Anfernee Simons All-Star appearance.
Oh, my. Hey, I can see it. If this is who he is,
like if he's this dude,
you know, maybe not this because 31's crazy, but like if he's a 24 a game, 6-7 assist guy, and
like that doesn't sound like crazy to you anymore, does it?
No, it kind of seems realistic.
It's a small realistic, but like that's like everything coming together.
But I was gonna say I think it's more about the fit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the future holds for Anfernee Simons, nor dare I guess.
Can you find a team that is just like, oh yeah, we have a defensive-minded point guard who's a more traditional, a Steve Blake, a Mike Conley, a Kyle Lowry, where they're more traditional table setters, but they can space the floor. But they're not only passable, but they're good defensively IQ-wise. You can play Anfernee Simons alongside that. You can play Anfernee Simons alongside a team that has a crap ton of wings. Like if you told me a team that had like a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum, like in Boston, like if you had those kind of wings around him, now those are different usage guys, but I'm saying just like size-wise, athletically, like, Bob says, are we about to watch Danny lose it? No, listen, that's as far off that cliff as I will go. And that's because I will fully always admit my bias with him. I think he's going to be a very good pro. I've never thought he was going to be like what he's kind of shown recently, but man, it's hard not to get excited. Like this is what I get excited about right now in this season.
Okay, let me ask you. I'm just gonna throw it out because you mentioned the team. It's a team that I think it's worth watching outside of Portland, and I think it's a team that makes you kind of go, "What's the future?"
Mm-hmm.
Ant getting 31 is a bit much, but like, what is the line for Ant to average and play for situations?
Basically, the next 40 games.
Side of Portland to call and say, "Hey, we love that kid," to where it becomes like a viable option because teams look around and they go, "How many Anfernee Simons are out there right now?
How many guys are out there right now? Is 22 years old can be the lead option."
Yes.
And look good doing it. And it's one of those things where it's like he does it so effortlessly. He just walks into it. Again, 17 shots, 31 points. And all the questions we start having, like before it was like, well, can he do anything consistently? Now he's doing things consistently. Well, can he get to the rim and get to the paint? Starts having tremendous finishes around the rim tonight. He had two tonight, Brandon, that were just got me yelling everything. He had the split cross in the paint on two Sacramento bigs, and then he had the other one where he scooped around, went up right, switched left, finished on the inside of the rim to protect the shot block.
Did you do one?
Oh, it was a woo! That's what we had there, which sounds a lot like what is it? Is it who has the hauler yell? Goofy. I had to remember the old.
Oh, the chuckle.
Yeah, it's listen, I know I have a lot of laughs, but It's one of those things. It's fun to get excited about. It's fun to get out over your skis over with Ant. You know where I sit on him. He's my dude. If he's getting traded somewhere, it better damn well be to a team that's going to give him a real chance and a real opportunity.
Well, let's not talk about trading Anfernee Simons. Come
on. Fair enough. I don't want to see him traded. I genuinely want to see him get a real opportunity here, but that's me being selfish.
No, I mean that's fine. I think he's playing so well that he is creating questions, I think, within the fan base. Because
good questions to have.
Yeah, the fan base was very splintered last year, right? Like, not by a huge margin, but there was just Blazer Twitter was odd. And Blazer Twitter's kind of been odd this year, just how all of this has gone.
Mm.
And I just think a big part of this is we all know what they are now. We know that Dame's basically done. So we're all collectively in on what this is. It's tank. It's Tankapalooza, get the ping pong balls, but play the young dudes. And Ant has, I think, played well enough where you've got people suggesting he's part of that future, no doubt. And I still think you got that pushback of, well, we'll see. Maybe you shouldn't be labeling players untouchable or whatever.
I mean, Dame is the only true untouchable, and by God, touchdown Chargers.
I didn't want to say anything. They scored a touchdown on the last play of the game with 2 seconds left. Justin Herbert might be God. I'm glad nobody told you that game was over. I also have a Chargers minus 2.5.
Oh, so they got to get the field goal win, huh?
So if they went on a touchdown field goal, I somehow covered this game, which is just stupid because they were down 13 points.
What
a throw. So, oh my God, what a throw.
Sorry. So for reference,
wow.
Sprgaue comes in. He's like, it sucks, man. I had Chargers bet tonight. There's no way they're getting there. And I just looked at him square in the eye and said, are you shitting me? This is the Raiders. I know this team. They have plenty of opportunity to choke this round. Within 20 seconds, the Chargers scored, and I was like, yeah, well, give it time. Give it time.
That's one of the best throws I've seen in the NFL in like 2 years. Yeah. Maybe 3. Like, where he put that ball in that window, the window was this big.
Listen, man.
He is a stud.
I know you want your bet, but I want more than anything for this game to end in a tie.
Oh.
It would be just the pure chaos of it all.
Well, if they tie, they're both in.
Mm-hmm. And the Steelers are out, and Eduardo says he's a Steelers fan. So
here's the scenario: if they tie, Vegas plays Kansas City, though.
Which that sucks.
It does suck, but hey, I mean, you guys have played weird against them, right? Maybe it gets odd. And the Chargers get Buffalo, so you get Josh Allen versus Justin Herbert.
Oof,
that's a good playoff game.
That's fun. You know what wasn't a good game? Tonight's game between the Blazers and Kings.
Hey, they played great defense.
They honestly did play well defensively. I don't want to say great because their defense wasn't great.
It's great for them.
Better for them. Better for them.
Okay. All right.
But beyond that, the Kings were bad. Like not kind of bad. Like they were a disaster.
I mean, they did the rollover thing.
Oh God, so early.
So
I'm trying to remember who was it that the Blazers got boat raced by like 3 weeks ago. In the first quarter, they were down 16-2. The game was over in the first quarter. Oh, was that Dallas?
Yeah, it was Dallas because Dallas kept dunking.
Yeah, that's right. Good God.
Housed them.
The Kings kind of did that tonight. They were like, nah, I'm good. You guys take this one. And we had James Ham, who covers the Kings, on in the pregame. And I asked him, are the Kings going to be buyers or sellers? And he's like, well, a little bit of both. And I'm like, how much of both? You know, kind of a situation. Because they are. They're going to sell on Bagley, and they're going to sell on Hield. But, like, to them...
I think you should sell on Fox, too.
I mean, that's a we had that discussion, too, and it's like, hard to see that one happening. But it could. But we're talking about they're only like a half game wins before tonight, outside of the 10 seed and a play-in. The Blazers, that's just a dog shit of an idea. Like, it's just, no, steer clear. Please, God, no. But the Kings have been so dysfunctional for so long that a play-in opportunity is like sweet manna from heaven. It's just like, give me that. Num. And it's like, God, that's where just like the levels in like where you are as an organization, like there's no level of play-in that makes sense for this team.
Minnesota and Sacramento are two teams that if they get a play-in, you take that all day.
Yeah, no, you chase that opportunity.
Portland's been above and beyond the play-in for a few years, and now they finally,
8 straight years, Brandon.
Now they finally hit the side of the mountain. We ain't trying to restore this plane and fly it off the mountain. We're hiking down. This is over.
Yeah, you're hopping on the sled, man, and you're just riding that thing down to the bottom.
Yeah, because you gain nothing from making the plan. Nothing.
Few bucks for ownership's pocket.
A few bucks or a draft pick. I mean, you take your pick.
I mean, who's to say, Brandon? Who's to say? I will say this about Jusuf Nurkic. That man loves playing the Sacramento Kings.
Yes, he does.
Good God. Him and CJ McCollum, man, they have a blood oath against the Sacramento Kings. Nurk finishes with 14, 16, and 9 on 6 of 12. Took another 3. Kevin Calabro didn't like it. It was great.
That was actually really funny when he's is that Jusuf Nurkic?
Well, he had the bombs it out to Nurkic, the 20% 3-point shooter, just jabbing him as he lets it go. And I'm like, and the other day he talked about, I just grind my teeth every time he takes a 3. And it's like, I love that we've reached this point of the season where he doesn't have to polish a turd and he gets to kind of be a little ornery.
What he reminds me of is
Mike Rice, 3 beers deep.
No, not Rice. He's a little classier than Rice. He's not off the cuff that way. It's Bob Uecker's character in
Major League.
Major League.
Oh God.
Don't worry, nobody's listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Very
Marty,
much.
That broadcasting school really paid off.
Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle. Thank you. Yeah. That's who Kevin Calabro is. He's one of the best when you listen. But the team's so bad that now he's just openly
having his fun.
There are 9 games below 500, Lamar. What does it matter? That's kind of where he's at, and I love it.
Which, it's fun, man. It's been fun. But Nurk had himself a night, man. 14, 16, and 9. Definitely hunted that last assist. He was not happy he didn't get the opportunity.
Gentry made fun of him for it.
Yes, Gentry was giving him crap on the sideline for it, and Nurk looked like he was taking it in stride, but also you son of a... But it's and Bob says, Lamar busted out he's 22%, but 50% tonight. Which again, that's just where kind of the fun is coming from all of this. Nurk has these spats right now. He played 34 minutes tonight. In the first quarter and a half, I was like, God,
he played 38.
Is it?
You were looking at Nas.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 38, which I almost
is that a career high?
If it's not, no, he's played 40 before, but I'm certain that's a season high. And I think that's obviously a big part of that is, he was chasing that triple double, so he got a couple tired minutes in there.
Boy, they've really played him too. We've mentioned how he's looked a little off, and it, whatever.
They're played him more minutes now.
They're just throwing him out there for 30+ minutes a night. He was never a 30-minute guy before this.
No, so it's been a little interesting with how they've gone to Nurk. Had some bad misses tonight. Had some really good makes. It was a very Jusuf Nurkic-esque night. It was nice to see him rebound the way he did. I told Brandon I had one negative take tonight, and that the Blazers were a little sloppy with the ball, and a lot of that had to do with Nurk and Ant just trying shit. To be honest, what did I say when this was all kind of coming out, Brandon? Let's see him try some shit.
Yeah,
just give me a little something. You had Nurk little rat pass to Trendon Watford. You had Ant throw that one-handed bounce pass from the top of the key to Nas on the back door. That one-handed with some English and led Nas to the spot. And it was that might be Ant's best pass of his career so far. But I thought Nurk was feeling saucy. He had a couple sloppy passes, but it's fun to celebrate this stuff.
It is. And I think part of this, and this isn't to take away anything, but I think part of this is the reality of this team has been down. They've been kicked pretty hard. They had going into tonight, I think, won 3 of their last 22 or something crazy. Whatever it was.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, but I think they saw another team on the same level as them, and that team said, we actually give less shits than you. And they said, awesome, we're gonna get a dub tonight. And I think when you approach that and you realize it in that league, that team takes advantage. So Portland, yes, obviously awful, but they saw Sacramento completely not care tonight.
And that's, I think, the dysfunction of the Kings, like, bleeding over. Like, the Blazers are dysfunctional right now, but not Kings dysfunctional.
Right.
Like, it's a different level of discourse.
Yes.
DSJ says, a little unfortunate we won tonight. I'm not going to play that game all season. I get like some of it's like tongue in cheek, and I'm not trying to like belittle you here. I just don't want to play the oh crap they won game.
Well, I won't do that till the end, and we know like where they're.
That's the frustration, and I kind of wrote that in the write up tonight of like, if you're living in the moment, you enjoy Anfernee Simons balling out, Nurk nearly getting a triple double, and just like winning a game, because winning is always more fun than losing. Even when you're tanking and you know the end result, that dopamine hits a lot harder when you win games than it does when you lose games. Like even if you know that in the end it's better for you. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to get all the way to that level, even though I am 100% in the they should be losing games. I would very much like them to be competitive for 3.8 quarters of basketball a night.
Well, I think you and I have kind of both echoed those sentiments. The only pushback to that could be when you play that closely, you're going to have nights where you take wins, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's where like a guy like Anfernee Simons going for a 43 piece.
I mean, that night you shouldn't have won. Trae Young had 56 points. He was unconscious. 14 assists. Like, he had an insane night all time type stats. And they won that game because a guy like Ant is getting an opportunity and running with it.
Speaking of that opportunity, James Pizarski says, should have benched Ant tonight for the loss. And it was kind of funny. I looked at the score line, and I think they were up like 8 or 9 at the time. And I looked at it, and I was like, man, Ant has only played 14 or 24 minutes. And I'm like, we're in the fourth quarter. There's no way they're going to let Ant just sit for the rest of the night on that. Like, he's having a nice night. And then 2 seconds later, Ant came in, and I think the Blazers had 2 possessions where they came up empty, and then Ant decided, nope, it's my time, and went on like his own, was it 8-0 run or 9-0 run? And I was like,
yeah.
Apparently Ant said, I'm going to do it myself.
Yep.
And that's where, like, when you're talking about holy crap kind of production, that's where I look at it and go, you got a guy who says he can do it himself, and then he backs it up. Not a ton of those in the NBA.
It's going to be fun to watch him over the next 5-6 games. I know they got Brooklyn, then they got this trip. I think all these games are going to be fun because he's no longer a guy flying under the radar. Like, these teams now have the tape.
He's the top of the scouting report right now.
He is right at the top. And to watch him go against all of these different looks, whatever these teams end up bringing at him, because I think KD and James Harden are both coming cross country for this game.
I believe Kyrie is actually coming.
Is he allowed? I don't know how it works.
He should be allowed in Portland, but I don't know.
Okay, I don't know the rules. I'm not trying to be controversial. I just didn't know. But I think just watching him against some of these teams, can he keep how much can he keep this going? Like, we think he is tapped into something, and I still believe it, but you still really like seeing it. And so I'm curious to see him with this next game and then the 6-game trip.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that 6-game trip goes, because that's going to wear on some guys real quick. Speaking of wearing on guys, Damian Lillard. Lillard's going to miss the road trip. He's going to go see a specialist for his abs. Senior Sprgaue.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting shut down.
It's over. Yeah, the specialist is going to say exactly what Joe Cronin and the Blazers want him to say.
You need surgery.
Yes. I mean, look, he's gonna get the best thing for him, and it's got to be one of the tougher years for him professionally in a long time, maybe ever. But I think it's a clear sign that he understands what's going on, where this team is, and what the benefits, the cost analysis of all this.
The acceptance of this cannot be understated.
Right. I like, that's an important note.
The switch is flipping even before the All-Star break.
And that was my biggest worry, is him going and
dragging it out
to the All-Star breaks. Like, no, that's not going to change anything. It can make things worse. So I thought it's unfortunate for Dame, but for the team and what's at stake, it was a positive thing. Yeah.
So the good news, or silver lining in this, if you're looking for it, is that the Anfernee Simons show is going to continue. It's going to happen. What's going to be interesting is CJ McCollum is healthy right now. And you and I have talked about this. He's basically been healthy for a little while now. but there's no need to rush him back with the strong likelihood that he is also not going to go on this trip because his wife is very pregnant and about to have their first child. In a season like this, CJ McCollum doesn't need to be rushed back. Doesn't need to be a part of the team right now. It's none of that stuff. You're not chasing those wins. So if you're looking for your positive, again, that silver lining, the Anfernee Simons and Nasir Little agenda stays positive, baby. Stays on the runs. It goes on the road. It travels.
Well, I want to be fair with this, the CJ stuff, because we talked about him not playing a game. Portland again. I'm starting to think that's not going to be the case. That he'll get like it'll be an indicator of what's coming, and standing O and all that. Holdall had a good point the other day when somebody tweeted and said, "What's the update with him? Is he coming back?" Yada yada yada. And Casey basically was like, "It's unprecedented for a player to be dealing with a lung collapse in the middle of a pandemic." So it's kind of like really want to take this as easy as they can.
They can do that, and that gives them a lot of cover. No, I'm not saying that they're not doing that. I'm saying it's a big thick veil they can put down and like, oh, we're just taking our chance, or we don't want to take our chances. Excuse me.
Right.
And James says if he's not playing, I worry it'll hurt his trade value.
Nah, his trade value won't improve and it won't get worse. He'll play.
It is what it is. Like when you look at guys around the NBA, your trade value doesn't change game to game, day to day. Like Ant playing like this is just a confirmation of like he can be that dude.
Yeah.
Now that may cause his trade value to rise as we progress into free agency in the offseason because of his status. Okay, but a guy's couple games here, couple games there, their trade value doesn't change. It's a month. It's a season-long process before that stuff really happens. Mm-hmm. And you see the contracts kind of follow after that as well. So it's turning out about as what we expected, Brandon. Really,
it's been a little better than I expected because I honestly didn't think they'd beat Cleveland, Miami, or Atlanta. So for them to get one of those,
that's fair. I remember I did say they're going to stupidly stumble into a game,
and you did say that.
I definitely thought, what just happened?
The Chargers are marching. They got a fourth down pickup again with a big.
I just watched my feed go nuts.
I'm sorry.
So, that's okay.
I have it on an iPad right here to my left, so I'm looking down every once in a while because I got to see the end of this game.
But the stupidity of it all, watching one team struggle through a tank season, another team not know what the hell they're doing. So it's just, it is what it is. And
I'm kind of excited for the next game.
For the Blazers game against the Nets?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? It's Kevin Durant and James Harden.
Let me go. Okay. I was saying, let me count the ways.
Well.
Okay, that's fair. We'll I'm really honestly looking forward to the next month just to watch the young guys entirely through and through, and to see what kind of happens. I'll tell you this: Marvin Bagley didn't really sell me tonight.
Thank you for bringing it up. It was on the top of my mental notes, and then I put those away. I have none whatsoever interest in bringing that dude to Portland, even as a tryout for 10 games. No, thank you.
It's every time you think it's going to work, it doesn't.
He's awful.
It's not great.
Like, I honestly believe it's not even a Sacramento thing. I don't think he has much skill. I don't think he's even a good player.
Wow.
I'll go. Yeah. I mean, it's a little hot takey, but give me Nerlens Noel. Like, we're talking about bus picks. Like, just give me.
Well, I mean, Nerlens turned himself into a viable player.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They chose this dude over Trae Young. You know what I mean? Like they had, and Luka. That's right. Because it was a trade. That in itself, I mean, that's a travesty.
That hurts. It's kind of funny. Again, we had James Ham on in the pregame, and James referred to Bagley as not Luka. It's like that's a tough sell.
I thought about this. So they passed up on Luka for Marvin Bagley. They passed up on Damian Lillard for Thomas Robinson.
Yeah. They made a promise to CJ, and they didn't take him.
They probably have another one out there that I'm just
blanking on. No, they had a lot of them. They've just missed on draft picks, like endlessly.
So badly. so badly. How do you evaluate Trae Young, Luka Doncic, and Marvin Bagley? And your takeaway was we have to have that guy.
And that's why they're Kangs. So.
Kangs are the Kangs, man.
We'll get out of here on that. Thank you all so very much. We obviously have the Nets game tomorrow, which is part of a rescheduled game. The mailbag will fall after that. So, with a Sunday, Monday, back-to-back, that pushes the mailbag back. So we'll take questions. If you want to get your questions in at Jack Ramsays, at Danny Marang, at Brandon Sprgaue, or jackedramsays@gmail.com. We will take your questions in there, and we can just kind of make it happen. And thank you all so very much. I know it's kind of a scattered night, but it's so hard to kind of keep up with talking about the ins and outs of these games right now because there's so many pieces that are not going to be a part of this team, not only in next season, but like in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's thank you for staying with us. We appreciate it. Help us grow the show. Share us with your friends, share us with your family, your enemies, your frenemies, whoever it is. Play it over the loudspeakers. People ask you, who are those two idiots that you're listening to? And you can tell them that's Jack Ramsays. You can find them wherever you get podcasts. Also on YouTube at youtube.com/Danny Marang. Thank you all so very much. We do appreciate you. Like, rate, review, subscribe, both here on YouTube and wherever you get your favorite podcast. We will catch you tomorrow for the pre- and post-game show against the Brooklyn Nets. And until then,